You're listening to the Slaughter Sluts, the only podcast where the body count matters.
Hello out there, people. It's been a long time, but we are back out of the grave due to the magic of a Ouija board, and we're allowed to roam free again. And we are back. We would like to welcome you guys to the first Slaughter Sluts episode of 2026 and our big YouTube debut.
Yeah.
And joining us tonight, I'm very excited. I'm fangirling kind of hard. You just can't see it.
Realize that
The,
it's fun.
the gentleman joining us on today's episode has a resume as long as I would say I've been alive. Uh, if you were a child of the 90s, such as Mags and I, you may remember him from the super iconic Blockbuster commercial. But what you may not know about him now is that he's a bit of a horror icon these days. And he's done it all: commercials, improv, horror, assistant producing. He's got a bunch of projects in the pipeline as we speak, and he's taking time out of his very busy schedule to jabber with the two of us. So I would like to welcome Bill D. Russell.
Thank you
Welcome,
very
Bill.
much. And I'm always happy to jabber. Jabbering is one of my favorite things to do.
Well, you were in the perfect place because Maggie and I can jabber with the best of them.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah, thank you again. Thank you for coming. And
My pleasure.
this is probably already, I would say, our favorite episode we've ever done. So
Definitely.
Which isn't saying much about your earlier episodes, then. I'm just
We've been try-
saying.
I wasn't gonna say it, but we'll let Bill say it.
it's better if Bill says it because
Yeah,
then
exactly.
if we say it, we just come off as two modest podcasters. But Bill says it.
Deprecating.
Yeah.
Fine.
Now if Bill says it, now I know we've got work to do. So, Bill, we're just we're gonna get right into it. You had
Sure.
very, very humble beginnings in the world of improv.
So humble, very humble beginnings.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, I was taking just filmmaking classes. I had, you're gonna like this. I had dropped out of Bible college, uh, and ended up in Chicago without planning to move there, but somehow I did. Uh, and I started taking filmmaking classes at Columbia College in Chicago because I thought I would like that's okay. I'm not going to be a minister. In that case, I want to be in the movie business or broadcasting, something like that. So I was taking screenwriting and directing classes at Columbia College, and uh, somebody kept urging me to take improv classes because I'm a smart ass with no filter. So he said, you would really love improv. And I blew it off for, a while until I thought, well, actually, it was the early 80s and so many Second City uh, alumni were involved in the movies that were coming out then. Um,
Right.
your Bill Murray, Harold Ramis, John Belushi, Dan Aykroyd, and all the people from Canada that were the SCTV people. And I was like, oh, maybe I should get plugged into the Second City just for the connections. I had no inkling that I was going to want to pursue acting. And it would take a few years before I finally said, yeah, I guess that's what I want. So
I
that our
love that.
time should be up by now, right? I feel like I just talked for an hour and a half. Or jabbered. I was jabbering.
Jabber.
I was in jabber mode.
Just turn that
There,
on and off. I wish we could. That'd be great.
yeah, we just
So
had
yeah,
had
so
a good.
that's how I started doing improv. And I read when I thought, maybe I want to pursue this. I read a book called Something Wonderful Right Away. The author is Jeffrey Sweet, and he interviewed a lot of the second city people who were there at the beginning. One of them being Del Close, and at the time Del was not working at Second City. He was working with another theater called Improv Olympics, which is now known as IO. So I said, I was really impressed by his interview. And he's a genius, but he's also crazy.
As geniuses are.
Yeah.
Most
So,
geniuses
and
tend to be.
so then I got involved at Improv Olympics, and yeah, that was a fun time.
Now that's amazing, and I've done a little reading. I've done a little reading about you as I tend to do with everybody. I promise I'm not stalking.
Liar.
Hey, if you are, I already told you I'm open to having a stalker. It's like the ultimate fan,
At least
I
they're
lo-
putting effort in, right?
Yeah, exactly. And if you don't have a stalker, I mean, are you really even that good? I mean,
You're not doing your job right if you don't.
no. I was to the point I was actually just going to hire one.
Just hire one.
just
Yeah.
hire a stalker.
Oh,
I
that's funny.
A lot of actors are looking for a side income, so.
I mean,
That
So if
actually,
anyone out there in viewer land would like to be my stalker,
stalk Bill Russell. He's really really into pizza.
really liked it.
yeah, a good stalker move: show up at my door with a pizza. You could be Freddy Krueger. I will invite you in.
I mean, to be fair, I think I would invite Freddy Krueger in if he brought a pizza.
If Rob England showed up at my house with a pizza, I'd be like, let's come inside.
And I wasn't thinking about this, but wasn't Freddy's face based on or inspired by a pepperoni pizza?
Yeah.
Is the story I've heard? Yeah.
I've heard that too, and I'm just like, what cheese? Like, is it a Provel? Is it a Provel mozzarella mix? Like, what's happening here?
See, you think about the really important things.
I do.
Like every time, it's like every time I watch the Halloween franchise, I always I always chuckle to myself because like John Carpenter wanted to find the scariest mask he could for Michael Myers, and the best he came up with was William Shatner.
But not like regular William Shatner, pale white William.
Yeah, it's such a like blank. It's almost like no face. At least that's how I see it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's good old William Shatner.
It's like I always imagine myself now that if Michael Myers did talk, it would just be William Shatner.
It would just be
I've grown tired of chasing you.
I'm pretty sure there's a sketch idea there.
Yeah.
I'll find someone who does a good Shatner impression.
I would love that. That's amazing. Now, I've seen like during your improv, I imagine you've gotten to work with like some heavy hitters, I'd imagine. Is there anybody in particular, like during your improv days that you worked with and you were like, wow, like this person's like awesome?
Yeah, a bunch. If you haven't Googled Del Close and his impact, pretty much everybody that came out of Second City also studied with Del at Improv Olympics. There's a documentary called Thank You, Del that was produced by Amy Poehler. Amy Poehler and Tina Fey came in kind of right after I was there. The troupe I worked in was called Barron's Barracudas. Joel Murray was one of my fellow troupe mates.
Wow.
That's Bill and Brian's brother, and he was in the Hatchet movies and done some other stuff.
Right.
I remember there was a couple of people had moved down from Madison, Wisconsin that were involved in an improv theater called the Art. Were at UW, and a couple of them had moved down to Chicago. And one was this kind of chubby, goofy guy, and he'd come up to me after shows and go, "Oh, Bill Russell, you're so good. I hope I'm as good as you someday." It's Chris fucking Farley.
No
But
way.
nobody knew who he was, but you could kind of tell he just had this charisma. He was like a giant sheepdog. And he did that bit on SNL where he interviewed celebrities, and he's like real. He can barely talk. That's Chris. That's the same way he talked to me back then. Dave Keckner came through about that time. If you know Dave, I didn't meet this guy at Improv Olympics, although he was involved there. I met him. We did a horrible murder mystery dinner show together for about 9 months. Jon Favreau.
Jeez.
No way, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And we got to be good friends, and I actually sat in with his improv troupe a few times at Improv Olympics. And then he was supposed to do a corporate show with a troupe I was performing with called Spontaneous Combustion. And we needed an extra person. We said, "Hey, John, can you come do the show with us?" He calls me on a Thursday and says, "Bill, I'm sorry it's short notice, but my agent wants me to go out to LA." He was in the movie Rudy. I don't know if you know that. And Rudy was opening that weekend, and his agent said, "You should be in LA to take advantage of it." So he said, I'm going to LA. So, of course, that turned into the story for Swingers, if you've ever seen Swingers.
Yeah.
So the last conversation I had with John, he called me one day and he was all excited. He said, I wrote this little movie, and we just got picked up for distribution by Miramax. I'm so excited. Miramax is good. Never heard from him again. Next time I tried to call him, that number was no longer in service. So.
Oh.
And I get it, you got to move on. So.
Yeah, but that's amazing.
Although.
Yeah.
Now, I know another iconic director that you got to work with is the genius behind the "Where's the Beef" commercials.
Joe Settlemeyer. Yeah. Who was he directed the "Where's the Beef" commercial with a little old lady who was Clara Peller. And what I really find funny is I read an interview where he said he intended the joke to be the lady saying, "But it's such a big fluffy bun." And it was "Where's the beef" that everybody.
That's amazing.
He said, "I was surprised that that's it." He was a pioneer in what they called real people casting, where he didn't necessarily use actors. He and his people would just go out like to grocery stores and malls and look for interesting people and ask them if they'd like to be. That's how he found Clara Peller. She was in a grocery store buying her groceries.
Like that woman.
Every actor wanted to work with him, but those of us that had kind of a weird character-y look were the only ones that lucked out. But I remember him being. Everybody else that was in that spot were real people, but he'd get really frustrated that they didn't know like actor stuff, like how to hit your mark or things like that. And I'm like, there's a trade-off here.
Right.
But they had me. I had to go down into the Loop, the Chicago Loop, to some really fancy tailor shop. They bought me a suit that I didn't get to keep, but the suit that I have on in that commercial was tailored for. It's like, why will you not let me at least buy the suit? It's tailored for me.
Right.
But because it's like an $800 suit and this real expensive, dress shirt, white dress shirt. So because he's not working with real actors, the shoot starts, it goes into overtime. And they had not anticipated it to go into overtime. So they hadn't arranged for dinner. And uh, the Screen Actors Guild contract says, you have to give people the meal break at such and such a time. So they said, let's order ribs. Now I'm in this nice suit and white shirt. And they're like, we don't want Bill to have to get undressed and dressed again. They cut a hole in a large garbage bag and put it over my head. So I'm sitting there wearing a big garbage bag, big green garbage bag, eating my ribs.
Because they don't want you to
The
ruin
glamorous life of show business.
No. I love that. So
Now, did you have your pinky out when you were eating the ribs with the?
You have to. I think it's
You have
required. The ribs don't taste right if you don't.
Really?
I know people who are missing a pinky finger and they say ribs they don't like ribs. There's nothing they can do about it. Oh, and I don't know if we said this. That was a commercial for Alaska Airlines.
Oh.
And it was called Legroom. Because that's the bit, that was the point of the commercial. You wouldn't settle for a hotel room that didn't have enough space. So why settle for an airplane that doesn't have enough leg?
I love that. I've been on a plane.
Commercials like they used to.
They really don't. Like, for example, as somebody, like, I used to sing the TWA jingle like it was my job, but I was terrified of flying. And I would walk around the house and I would just go, the most comfortable way to fly. And my mom was like, well, we have to go to Florida. We have to get on the plane. I'm like, yeah!
Right?
And then, like, all I kept thinking, I was like, well, as long as it's TWA, by the time it was time to go to Florida and take a TWA, gone.
Yep.
Gone. I had to settle for United Airlines, the airline that beats people up. The most comfortable way to fly, and now I'll never know. Instead, I've got to.
Right?
Now you got to be uncomfortable when you fly.
Instead, I got to sit in my seat like this, just waiting like I love that. So, now you also did a commercial, and Maggie's going to be excited about this. You also were in a Pizza Hut ad.
Yeah.
I was? Was I?
The best one with 5 bills.
5 bills! An extra large pizza for only 5 bills?
It's iconic.
5 bills! There you go.
Now hearing him say it, I'm like, yeah, that was him.
Yeah, literally.
Oh, so that's amazing. But I wish I can get a pizza for $5
Like, I'm done.
Right.
I'm like, I remember. Oh man, Pizza Hut, 5 bills. Wow, what a simple time that was.
Right? Now it's like 5 times that.
I went
Probably.
I ordered Pizza Hut not too long ago, and for like 1 pie and an order of wings, it was like $27.
Yeah.
And I'm literally in my car crying tears into my pizza because I'm like,
yeah, because you don't expect that.
Yeah.
$27.
That's why I never get wings. I always, if I want stuffed crust, I can never get wings.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's the wings that put you up there.
Yeah, that's what it was. And now speaking of commercials, it's got to happen. You are the face of what is probably one of the most iconic commercials of the 90s. How did that come about? And
Are we talking about the Blockbuster video commercial?
That's the one.
The perfect store. If you could have the perfect store, you'd have 24-hour rental. That was my first like big commercial audition, that wasn't for the
Right.
local Honda dealership. This was like a big, what they call a national. It will play all over the place.
Right.
And it was also the first audition I had with one of the biggest casting directors in Chicago, Jane Heights. And so I go in there and she says, well, we're going to play this track that has clicks on it. Every time you hear a click, imagine that you're reacting to something going on around you. Okay. She said, we'll do one take with we'll do one take with small reactions and one take with bigger reactions. I said, okay, because we'll do the small reactions first. So she plays the thing, and every time there's a click, I react to it. And I'm being small. And she goes, okay, well, you decided to do the big ones first. That's fine. Now do the little ones. And I was like, oh my God. I thought I was being as small as, but I just have an expressive face, which has, been the reason I get cast in anything. I once was at a photography, they call it a look-see for modeling if it's going to be a still photo. And the photographer was like, you've got to be as deadpan as possible. No emotion in your face. I couldn't do it. He said, even when you're not showing emotion, your face is still too expressive.
Yeah.
So.
I love that.
So anyway, so evidently, so I didn't even think about it. I thought, well, I blew that. I blew the commercial, and I made a bad impression on the casting director. Nope, I booked it. And when they filmed in Kansas City, so they flew me down to Kansas City. Everybody else was local, and I'm thinking, there's no reason why there's not someone in Kansas City that could have played the dad. And what I eventually discovered was there's some sort of cachet that producers think if you get somebody from out of town, we're going to get a Chicago comic actor to walk across the stage. But it's like, okay, I'll take that. But you have no idea that it's going to, like, 30 years later, it's going to be, associated with Blockbuster Video. And that commercial shows there's like the walls come up and things. That was all practical effects. They built walls. It was like an actual store, and then unfolded. So they had stagehands with ropes and pulleys that had to pull everything up, and it had to move, in sync.
Mm-hmm.
They thought it was going to be a lot easier than it was. It took them 3 days longer than they anticipated just to build it.
Oh, geez.
And then trying to get everybody to coordinate, they had to do it over and over and over.
Sheesh.
Oh, the left wall didn't come out right, Rich.
Yeah. So, and I don't think anybody is impressed with it now because they're like, oh, that was computer graphic.
No.
Which is what it would be now.
Yeah.
Now, it's funny we have you here now because I remember actually one of the very first horror movies I actually ever rented from a Blockbuster. Well, my mom. No way I was walking in there as a 7-year-old like, hey, give me the scariest movie you can find. My mom.
No, you had to go.
Aunt,
You had to go to other video stores to be able to do that. You go down the one on the corner. They don't care if you're 7. They'll even let you in the back room behind the beaded curtain. But not Blockbuster. They were family friendly.
Can't be in the first floor with a back room.
The whole reason that they came out with the NR, not rated designation for rating movies, was because places like Blockbuster would not stock a film if it had an X rating. Didn't matter if it was a porn or not.
Yeah.
If it qualified for an X. So they said, oh, we'll just not rate it.
That's smart.
But in the store.
I remember like the very first horror movie I remember my mom and aunt renting from Blockbuster was actually Puppet Master,
Mm-hmm.
The first one, the original.
the original.
Yeah, yeah, cool.
That yeah,
Yeah,
that was
I've always wanted to go to Bend, Oregon, where there's still the last Blockbuster open, and tell them I want to rent
same.
Doctor Death.
I I used to
But
follow
they don't
them
seem to
and
be
my
interested in the idea. I don't know why.
I actually used to follow them and back in the day when I was on Twitter regularly, and their tweets always made me laugh because one day I
Oh,
woke up and it was, "Hey, if anybody has any movies to return, can you let us know so we can send someone to open the store?"
yeah, yeah.
And then it was like, "Oh, to whoever returned, I forget what movie. Oh, I think to whoever returned their copy of Shrek 3, if the lockbox is closed, don't leave the DVD in front of the store
Ah,
unguarded."
I joink it.
And so,
he said, "I'm not getting any late fees. The lockbox is closed. All right, here it is."
I love that. Now, did your love and appreciation of horror movies ever play into your improv at all?
Oh, for heaven's sakes, yes.
Love
Well,
that answer.
the improv I was doing with Del Close and Improv Olympics is what they call long form improvisation. So if you're familiar with like the show Whose Line Is It Anyway, those are quick bits and they're intended to be, we're going to make a joke here.
Mm-hmm.
Long form was more like we want to try to create a one act play 40, 45
Right.
minutes long that is fully improvised. Um, so, and Del Close was very big on do not try to be funny, which has kind of been lost today based on the long form. I see people are going for jokes all the time, but you, you, the discoveries that happen in improvisation where two people don't know what's and somehow they together creators or discover this moment and the audience sees that discovery, people laugh at
Right.
that. It doesn't mean that what actually happened was funny,
Mm-hmm.
but the
Right.
nature of it, the nature of the beast is funny. So because we were doing long form, uh, it gave us the chance to most of us in this troupe were movie buffs. So we're doing a thing on stage, but yeah, movies influence so much of what we did.
Mm-hmm.
And at the time, some of the big influences were Trauma had just come out,
Right.
uh, Pee Wee's Big Adventure, uh, Repo Man, if you know the movie Repo Man.
Yeah.
That the one
Uh,
with Emilio Estevez?
that's Emilio Estevez and Harry Dean Stanton, I believe, is in that. It's terrific.
Right.
Um, Blue Velvet, David Lynch's Blue Velvet was another one
Hmm.
had just come out. So, um, yeah, not necessarily just horror movies, but movies in general. But certainly, horror was in there.
Right.
We
Um,
actually did. We put together what they call a scenario play, which instead of doing separate sketches like Second City does, or like you would see on Saturday Night Live, or here, we made them all related by Dell was very much into anime. Uh, so he devised a show. One of our improvisers was a young woman. She was only 18 at the time, but she had toured with Annie from one time she was 12 or 13. So she was like a 35-year-old woman in an 18-year-old woman's body because
Yeah.
she'd lived in an adult world for several years.
right.
So he said, I'm going to make her like an anime heroine. Uh, and so she goes off into space to fight the brain of the galaxy that wants to destroy Earth.
Mm-hmm.
And they put her in a
Hmm.
cryogenic chamber. And she has these series of dreams about how horrible Earth is, and it probably should be destroyed. But she's going to try to save it because it's our home. So,
Right.
so yeah, I mean, a lot of that. Our opening song was "Go Go Godzilla" from Blue Oyster Cult. So yeah, there was a lot of science fiction horror overtones in that. We wanted to do something that would showcase mass murderers. So I came up with they said, well, how could we, introduce these people? I said, let's have them have a mass murderer support group. And they just go around standing up and introducing themselves. Hi, I'm Charlie Starkweather. I'm a murderer. And Tim Howard Johnson, who's also an author, he wrote a lot of Monty Python related books. But he had books on all these mass murderer books, including one that was things they had actually said, either in interviews or whatever. So we used their exact words for the different characters.
Great.
And then at the end, the last one to stand up and talk about himself is Ed Gein. And he grosses all the other mass murderers are like, oh my God, you what? You wore your mother's now that's sick. And then Howard wrote a song called "A Boy's Best Friend Is His Mother" for Ed Gein. So come on, have a heart, or a liver, or a lung. And Del himself was in The Blob, the 1988 movie The Blob. He played the priest. And Del was actually in real life a practicing witch. And he wore his pentagram underneath his priest vestments in the movie. And he was like so tickled by that. He told that story over and over again.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Playing
So
a priest with a pentagram. That's amazing.
Yeah, so to a greater or lesser extent, horror definitely figured in. And one of the people I worked with, one of the other actors that was in that show I just mentioned, and it was called Honor Finnegan versus the Brain of the Galaxy was the name of the show. Mick Napier, who went on to form the Annoyance Theater in Chicago. I don't know if you've ever heard of that.
Yeah.
But about while we were working there at Improv Olympics, he started doing something they called splatter theater, which I wasn't involved in, but they did an improvised slasher movie on stage. Okay. And as far as I know, that still runs. I think they still do it every year around Halloween time. And it just gets more and more insane.
Yeah.
and lots of stage blood. Well, I have something for my to-do list now. I love that.
I wonder if that's where they get the ideas for like Saw, the musical that's touring around right now. Like that, I don't know.
I think it's hip, or people think it's hip to whatever movie and let's make a musical out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they've done that, I get it.
Mm-hmm.
So nice. So one thing, obviously this is the whole point of this podcast. Maggie and I love to gush.
Finally we're there.
We love to gush about our favorite horror films. And
Excellent.
We can't have you here and not ask you, like, what are some of your favorite films, or like what was the horror movie that you saw and you're like, yes, this is it. This is my favorite genre of movie now.
Well, it's funny because horror was like my favorite genre. Like I said, I'm wearing Universal Monsters shirt.
Legendary.
I grew up, in a time when there was no physical media. There weren't VCRs or DVDs. There wasn't even cable television yet. All you had was broadcast TV, which was a vast wasteland after the evening news. Johnny Carson was on. There was nothing else on after the evening news, so everybody ran old movies. And Universal and Hammer films were popular. So I saw all those old,
Mhm.
like House of Frankenstein,
Yeah.
which
Right.
has everybody in it. Dracula's there, the Wolfman's there. And I subscribed to, Famous Monsters of the Filmland. I loved horror movies. Again, the idea of becoming an actor
Right.
didn't even occur to me. Actors were someone who lived in a different dimension.
Mm-hmm.
That I grew up in rural Wisconsin. You're not exposed to much of any, it's such an unsophisticated. And my mom ran a beauty shop in our home. And she got the movie magazines of that time, which, are like People now, but uh, they were real gossip rags back in the day, and very much playing to that was still when they would do, publicity stunts.
Right.
Here is oh gosh, I can't think of the actor who ended up he died of AIDS. Uh,
I mean,
doesn't matter now. Now I lost my train of thought. What were we talking about?
Doesn't matter.
doesn't matter. Favorite horror films is what we were talking about, but you could even just
Yeah,
mention.
I got off on a tangent. I don't remember where I was going.
That's
I
okay. We
know
do that
that
here.
the Rock Hudson. I remember reading
Okay.
where they had, here's Rock Hudson with his wife and children. Look at them relaxing, and it was all it was
Yeah.
all manufactured.
Mhm.
Right.
But I grew up reading that stuff, so the idea actors were people who lived on a different planet. It wasn't something you
Right.
could aspire to.
Yeah.
At least I didn't think so.
And look at you now.
Yeah. Here you are.
Yeah, I did. It's interesting that horror actually came later in my career. Most of what I had done up until that time was comedy.
Mm-hmm. Do you think there's a link between horror and comedy? Like
Absolutely. Huge. Yeah.
I always
Well,
feel
I mean, how much comedy is there
like
in horror? I mean, even if it's not a horror / comedy,
Mm-hmm.
there are still things that we laugh at.
Right.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, I think there's, for any number of reasons, there's a connection between the two.
Yeah.
Just
And
being able to, one thing that improv does is train you to just be in the moment so that
Mhm.
you can
Right.
respond to what's going on around you.
Yeah.
And that's something that film school doesn't teach people. You have to be an improviser to be able to do that. So,
Mm-hmm.
and horror movies are ones where that type of situation happens frequently. There's so much going on, and you got to factor in the special effects and everything. So,
right.
you want someone who knows how to be present and be aware of what's going on around them, and isn't going, "What was my next line?"
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's what happens to a lot of actors. They don't know their lines that well, so they spend the whole time they're in dialogue with someone thinking about, okay, when they say this, then I say that.
Mm-hmm.
You can't be in the moment if you're doing.
Can't feel like you're an actor. You're supposed to feel.
Exactly.
Exactly.
And I've always felt that horror and comedy, at least to me, are the hardest types of films to make. And when I say that, people are like, "What do you mean?" And I'm like, "Well, because with action films, with romance films, and even with some dramas, at least halfway through it, you know what to expect. Whereas horror and comedy, to me, are the two genres of film that no matter what, you always have to do at least one thing to make your work stand out from everything else in that genre.
Right. Interesting observation.
Right. It's like it's easy to make, like anybody could say, I want to make a slasher film. But how do you separate your slasher film from the thousands of others? If
Exactly.
you have to nail at least that one scene. The rest of the film can be as formulaic as possible, but you have to come up with at least that one scene where people are like, "Well, that right there is worth it."
Right? Yeah. Yeah.
And
That's
I rem
also why comedians do so well in horror. Like when you
I
see
think
them,
so. Yeah.
it's just, to me, that's just they feel the scene better than, someone else from like an action movie or something.
Yeah.
yeah,
Well,
exactly.
what you learn doing comedy is timing,
Yeah.
and timing is so crucial.
Mm-hmm.
And again, uh, you really learn timing on stage
Mm-hmm.
because you begin to realize what an audience responds to. And you don't have to think, oh, I'm going to wait 3 seconds before I say the punchline. You just kind of know, okay, now.
Right.
So that also translates into any kind of acting.
Mm-hmm.
Just being able to do that,
Right.
Right. And
to have that sense of timing.
as someone who I got bit with the horror bug, I want to say, the ripe old age of 6, after accidentally wandering into my parents' bedroom when they were watching The Exorcist.
Okay, I'm glad. I wasn't sure where you were going there at first.
No, no, no.
No.
You wander into your parents' bedroom. That's a horror movie right there.
Yeah. No, they were watching and I remember it vividly. They were watching The Exorcist, and I walked in, and it was the scene where Reagan starts floating.
Oh, cool.
And I just looked, and I was like, "Whoa, what's that?" And I hear my dad go, "You said he was asleep." And my mother was like, "You're the one who put him to bed." And they were treating it like, I just witnessed a murder. My dad was like, "Well, he's in on this now." So
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, that ship has sailed. Let's show. Get out, Human Centipede 3.
right.
Cannibal zombies. Yeah, I get that.
No,
Jordy's ready for anything now.
you know
I
what?
want to say I saw The Exorcist when it first came out in a drive-in theater.
Oh,
wow.
Right? Mm-hmm.
Honestly, what was the last film I saw?
People that were probably passing out in their cars.
If they were, I didn't go walking around looking in other people's cars.
Right. Want to do that at a drive-in?
And only because I
dude,
didn't think of it. If I could go back in time, that is something I would do. Go around knocking on windows. Hey, but
You pass
I
out.
don't know if other people do that, but I know I was doing things in my car that I wouldn't have wanted anybody peeking in and seeing.
What's the last movie
Just
I
leave
saw
it
in the
at that.
drive-in?
Right.
Fair enough. I think I saw Scream 4 at a drive-in theater.
Drive-in is such a great place to see a horror movie.
I have
It
yet
is.
to be at a drive-in and watch a movie because we don't have them here really in like St. Louis area.
Yeah.
It's usually like maybe an hour drive, and
Right.
no, I have no one else to go with. I'm like, I'm not going to a drive-in by myself. That's kind of
Right.
pathetic.
Yeah, but there's one left. I believe it's about 40 minutes from me, which with the right people is worth the drive.
Yeah.
And it's cool because like they charge by the car and not by the individual.
Yeah.
Right.
So I think now it's like $15, but you get to see
Really
2
not
movies.
Right.
Yeah. You get a double feature. You don't have to stay for both movies, but like you
I
totally
wouldn't
can.
do.
Yeah, exactly.
You pay
Exactly.
to stay.
But the double feature is always something random. Like there's never like a
Like, you
connecting
give a
theme.
fuck.
So you pay $15 for a double feature. The first film is like Final Destination, but then the second film is like Toy Story 2.
Oh,
Right.
that's not out though, man. What do you mean?
It's like, okay, we realized that last film probably, raised your anxiety levels through the roof.
Here's
Right.
So
your comfort movie after.
here's Toy Story 3, a movie that will shoot that anxiety even higher.
Right?
Right.
Like here, you get to see Woody and all of his friends in an incinerator.
Right. Good stuff.
After just watching a woman get cooked in a tanning bed, there's your connecting theme: plastic burning.
Melting. Uh,
So, and speak as someone now who I am a big fan of, most of the horror franchises, which leads me to Dr. Death. How did the Puppet Master has been? I've always called it like the best kept secret of horror franchises because it's always like, oh, I love all the horror franchises: Nightmare, Halloween, Friday the 13th, and I'm like, you've never seen Puppet Master, you uncultured swine.
When I got cast in Dr. Death, I was an uncultured swine.
oh,
Really?
I I had seen the Puppet Master titles on
Right.
Tubi,
yeah.
and to me they just looked really lame. And I'm
Yeah.
like, who watches these things? So
Gotta be-
there's a casting platform called Actors Access where they post producers who are looking to cast things can post their what they call breakdowns, the audition criteria that they're looking for. And I had
Right.
responded to one for Baby Oopsie, didn't get called for that one. Then Dr. Death, and I didn't at the time even I didn't know about Full Moon Features. It was later that I was like, oh, Baby Oopsie is from the same company.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so I actually ended up auditioning for all three characters of the old
Okay.
men. I did a self tape for one. They called me to do a Zoom read with the director David Parker, but they had me
Mm-hmm.
read a different old man. And then when they cast me as Max Kuda. And luckily, I'm at the beginning of the movie. And I remember thinking, even if people only watch the movie for 5 minutes and then turn it off, they'll see me. I've
Yeah.
got that.
Yeah.
So then I posted something on Facebook and I said, I just got back from Ohio. I was shooting this movie, Puppet Master Dr. Death. And the comments I got, that's when I realized there was a following. And one of my friends said, oh my God, now you're going to be in the Puppet Master canon.
Yep.
And I was like, there's a canon?
Yep.
I had no idea. So yeah, now you can go to Puppet Master Wiki and I'm there.
And I love that. And
There's another wiki called Cinemorgue that tracks actors' deaths. I'm on there too.
I love that.
Goal.
That's
Like,
amazing.
Right now with 5 deaths, count them 5, and there's one I haven't posted yet because it hasn't been released.
I love that. That's, you know what? That's quite the film resume. I've died in 5 movies and I'm a part of 3 documentaries that I'm not cast in
That
directly.
I'm not really. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Thank you.
But
I'm glad you know that. You've done your
Oh,
homework. You stalker. You.
that's me. I always said that if I were going to be a celebrity stalker, I was going to model myself after. Have you ever seen the movie The Fanatic with John Travolta?
Yes. Oh yeah. Yeah.
That's the
Mhm.
type of stalker I want to be. Because,
Honestly, I just
man,
watched that recently, fairly recently. Yeah.
Oh, great movie.
Yeah, he's so fucking cool in this.
Yeah.
Hey Maggie, fun fact. Do you know who
Yeah.
the director? Do you know who the director of The Fanatic is?
Oh God. No.
Fred Durst of Limp Bizkit.
Oh my
Uh,
God, I
uh,
didn't know that, or if I did, I
Fred
forgot.
Fred Durst of Limp Bizkit directed The Fanatic. I think it's one of like I
Mhm.
think he's directed 4 films. I think that was like his first like crack at horror.
of course it was. Of course.
The other one was that really like obscure Ice Cube movie where like his daughter was the quarterback for the football team and she was like the only girl on the team.
No. I was
That's a
talking about Puppet Master to now Fred Durst. Like, let's not do that.
the point is we love cheesy horror movies here, okay?
I'm all about going off on tangents. So if that happens, don't
Exactly.
worry. We're
Oh
talking
yeah,
about Puppet
exactly.
Master 1 minute, and all of a sudden it's we're somewhere completely different. It's all good by me.
Something
But
completely
when I saw that when I saw all the credits and I read and I was like Puppet Master Dr. Death and I was like now I had to go and watch Dr. Death because admittedly I had fallen behind on the Puppet Master movie. There were at least like 4 of them that I
Right?
haven't seen. And then
different.
I read that like Dr. Death was only like 55 minutes long and I was like,
Yeah,
you
it's a
know what?
quickie.
It is. I love it. But
It's
also like
it's snack size.
yeah, we love a good snack size horror
I don't
film.
have time for a full meal movie. Hey, throw on Doctor Death.
We'll eat Pringles. By the
Yeah,
time we
it'll
finish this can of Pringles, the film shall be over.
exactly.
But I always fashion myself a big fan of like I would call like the unappreciated, like the full moon features.
Right.
Uh
So Jordy, what did you think of Doctor Death? If
um
you made it through the entire 55 minutes.
I do have to say it's definitely and I mean this honestly, it is better than at least the last 4 Puppet Master movies I
Yeah.
watched.
Mm-hmm.
Because the last one I saw was I'm going through the list here. I think it was Axis of Evil,
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
and I remember I was like, I love semi lame things, but this is too semi lame even for me. Doctor Death though, uh, honestly, I've never given a review. This is the first time in my life I've ever
Good for
given a review of a
you.
film to a cast member of said film.
Right to their face.
But I will say in the 50 was it 55 56 minutes it's a fun ride.
It for what it is,
It
yeah.
is.
I
Yeah.
agree with
It,
you.
it's
Yeah,
it,
it really is a snack.
it
It's
is
yeah.
and
And like they didn't even make an attempt at special effects, It's like
no.
you see Dr. Death kind of come into the frame, and then it cuts to blood splattering, and then it cuts back to Dr. Death.
Yep.
You know,
And it just
Better
it
than
seems
Velocipaster. Like, let's just give Dr. Death a little bit of credit. Because with Velocipaster, all they do is put it on the screen.
oh right, yeah.
So I'm just like, it's better than that.
look, it's not Birdemic, okay?
Yeah.
Now
What's
somewhere
interesting, I don't know if your research or your stalking brought this up, but I have dressed up as Dr. Death. I've cosplayed Dr. Death. Um, People love the character.
Mm-hmm.
It's seeing Dr. Death life size. People are like, oh, wow. Like,
right.
Full Moon Features is missing out here, I think.
You need to make like a giant doll.
Because people love this character. You should be exploiting that. Dr. Death is, I think, very different from all the other
Mm-hmm.
puppets, in
It,
several ways.
he is. I would say that I would say that it's the first character I've seen in the it's the first character I've seen in the franchise in a really long time. And this is a franchise that's wow, nearly 40 years in.
Yeah,
It,
been
it's
around a
it's
while.
got yeah, it's got the longevity of, some of the classics of the horror genre. But I would say that Dr. Death is the first puppet I've seen introduced in a long time where I'm interested in just more Dr. Death solo films.
Yeah, yeah.
Like
I
I
agree.
think Full Moon has something
Mm-hmm.
special with Dr. Death, honestly.
I would agree. I would agree. Of course, I'm dead now, so if they
Wow.
do another Doctor Death, unless they do a prequel, which I think they should.
Yeah.
Hey,
Maggie, did you see it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay,
I ended up
because
watching it and I
I
loved it.
die at the beginning, and when they go through my stuff, uh, I
Mhm.
have Doctor Death locked away in a trunk.
Yeah.
What is the story there?
Right. How did
Right? It's like
the trunk?
that's what needs to. Did he have the Doctor Death puppet since World War II? Because Doctor Death was
right.
introduced in, was it Retro Puppet Master?
Yes.
Was
Yeah. So, and my character was supposed to have been a medic in World War II. So I must have been like 120 years old. Um,
Dr. Death kept you alive.
yeah, yeah.
Should-
So I would love to see that explored, but I
Yeah.
don't know if they would let me. I mean, I can't look like a younger version of myself.
I mean, look,
Accents.
I mean,
But they just like blow that off. Oh yeah, he's had it in his trunk. We don't know why, and we don't care.
Stranger things have happened. How many
Right,
Phantasm films were there? How many times did we
Yeah.
see Reggie Bannister bite the bullet?
right.
So, you know, crazier things have happened.
It's true.
So I see you've done conventions. People love the Doctor Death character. Was
Mhm.
that your big like? Was that your big like? Wow! Oh my God! Like people like what I do. Like, was that your big moment there? Or
I've never felt that people like what I do.
really?
I'm kidding. Um,
Like, wait a minute.
I'm like,
and it
oh,
was such a perfect setup. I mean, come on.
I'm having like a moment and it's like,
Well,
never.
and how that came about was, I I was trying to promote the Max Kuda character, and I was trying to sell myself to conventions.
Mhm.
As nobody else has puppet master actors.
Yeah.
Um,
right.
so when I am at a convention, people are like, oh my God, I've never seen a puppet master actor before.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought, what I wanted Max Kuda to have a prop, and I thought my first thought was I'll make a life-size mannequin of Doctor Death. And I thought, no, why not make an outfit?
Mm-hmm.
Make a doctor's outfit, get a skull mask that doesn't look like the real Doctor Death, who was designed by special effects artist Jeff Farley. Need to get that plug in there.
No.
I love that.
So in the summer, I had gone to Days of the Dead in Indianapolis, and I had a friend wear the Doctor Death costume, and I wore Max Kuda's gray pajamas.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Nobody cared about Max Kuda. Even
Oh,
people who didn't know Puppet Master were
yeah.
people would stop and ask to take photos, and I'd say, "Do you know what the character is?" No, no. Is it from a movie?
Yeah.
And that's what I was
I
like.
love that.
People love Doctor Death, and then I should be Doctor Death. So then,
Right.
flashback weekend in Chicago, which was a couple months later, is when, which is ballsy of me because Charles Band is there representing Full
Wow.
Moon Features. And I couldn't bring I wanted to go up and talk to him, but I was so afraid he'd say, you shouldn't be dressing up like that. But when I first met him, the first time I talked to him, I said, Mr. Ben, because he wasn't at the shoot. Uh,
Right.
I said, I'm the guy who dies at the beginning of Dr. Death. And he said, "I'm sorry to hear that," and turned around and walked away. I think he had no clue what I was talking about, you know.
Yeah,
But
I
I
am.
did have fun at as Dr. Death. I have video where I approached Adrian Barbeau,
Mhm.
Michael Gross, and Keith David,
Michael Gross.
who was wonderful, you know, as he played back and forth. He
Yeah.
says, "I don't know, doctor, you've got a lot of," or he'd say, "I don't want a physical from you. I don't know where your hands have been." He was so funny and gracious, you know. It's like all of a
That's
sudden there's some guy in this weird costume talking to him, because usually cosplayers don't try to engage in conversation.
right.
Right.
And with Adrian Barbeau, there was a long line for autographs. So I came up on the other side of the table and I'm just kind of standing there. And she's obviously aware, but trying not to like give me any notification that she sees me. So finally I said, "I just want to say I loved you and Carrie." And she kind of goes, "I wasn't in Carrie." And I go, "Oh, what were you in?" And
Oh
she gestures at all these photos on the table. And I turn around to the camera and goes, "She claims she's in the movies."
my.
And then we saw Keith David, my friend who was videotaping, and he said, "Let's go talk to Keith David." So we're walking, I'm thinking, I'm going to kind of walk past him and then stop and say something to him rather than like I'm approaching him directly. I'm trying to figure all this out. He sees me and starts heading toward us and says, "Can I take a picture? Can I take a picture?" "Okay, Keith David, sure."
You can do
Is it
whatever you
Keith? Is it Keith David or David Keith? I
Right.
always get it backwards.
Give David. You can do whatever you want.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, unfortunately, I have a photo of, I have video of him pulling his phone out of his pocket and taking my picture. Um,
I love
so
Oh,
that.
yeah, so that's Dr. Death just unlocks doors.
yeah.
I'm just saying.
I mean,
I was hoping to like generate interest in people hiring me to like,
mm,
you know, be the host of their Halloween party or something. Because
I,
I'm an improviser, I can interact
that's
comedically with people.
yeah.
Nobody wanted Dr. Death.
Oh. Maybe maybe next time try going as Supreme Leader. See how that works.
There you go. I'm glad you like Supreme Leader. That's one of my favorite parts. And even, you know,
Really.
it's like, it's a caricature. I'm not really acting, but it was so much fun.
Yeah.
You're honest, that answered the next question I was gonna ask, but there you go. Honestly, you looked like you were having such a grand time in
Oh
that
my
movie.
gosh. Yeah, it was just fun. And
I love
you know, I was already a big fan of Plan 9 from Outer Space and all of those what I knew as psychotronic movies. Um, yeah, so you know, the B movie, the Outer Space, Flying Saucer, all of that stuff. And I don't know if you saw the first film we did that was a parody of Plan 9 was called It Came From Somewhere,
yeah.
which I do a parody of the psychic that introduced Plan 9, where I'm just like talking gibberish.
Yeah.
And now, friends, we will look into the past in order to avoid the mistakes we make in the future. If by looking in the future, we can relive the past and avoid making mistakes in the future. Nonsense. But that's kind of what the guy said when he was interested.
Mhm.
Criswell was his name. The amazing Criswell was
Mhm.
a celebrity psychic of the day. So then they did they decided to do a sequel, which was They Came Back From Somewhere. And they said, "Do you want to play this alien leader?" And I said, "Oh my,
Yeah.
yes. Oh, yes."
Go on. Or
That,
better yet, don't.
you know, I get to be like my own version of Ming the Merciless. Okay. Yeah.
Right.
And I had bought a walking stick from Timu, of all things. with this very ornate knob head that I just thought looked really goofy, and I thought, now, this will be a good character prop to
Right.
have. So when I did Supreme Leader, I thought he should have like a scepter or something.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just going to bring it along. And they were like, oh, yeah. I said, I'm going to use this as a prop. And they're like, yeah, okay. And it was so much fun with that. I'm pounding on the floor. And at one point, I poke Ann Myrna in the chest with it.
Some
I
of some of
love
like,
that.
the more physical, like comedic parts are my favorite. They're always because I'm like,
Oh,
just
yeah,
poke him. Like, he just poked him. What happened?
Right.
yeah.
So I have to ask,
Oh
do
no.
you
Oh,
no
I got to go now. Bye.
no, is there
I
like a
Now I have to ask, nothing good ever follows.
oh no
It's sort of like it's like we need to talk.
oh no nothing
And the
like that,
worst
I
is when somebody
promise.
says, "We really need to talk." Not right now, not right now, but maybe tomorrow night. I'm like, no,
Yep.
don't tell me
No.
we've got to talk and then say, but not until tomorrow,
Yeah,
because
no.
I will obsess about that.
Yep. But no, my question is, do you have like that dream role that if someone called you and was like, "Bill, we need you to do this," with no detail or context, you're like, "Yes, I'm in."
I'm always down to play vampires,
Yeah.
which I
Okay.
did in a short called Camp Sunshine. It's on my YouTube. I don't know if you saw it. Uh,
I'll have to check that
um,
out.
so yeah, I mean, to play like a head vampire type thing, mob boss, which I kind of have played. I like that. Um, as far as a dream role, one thing I've heard people say a lot is that they think I resemble Donald Pleasance as Dr. Loomis in Halloween.
I was trying
So I'm like,
to make that correlation because I feel like you get that a lot.
yeah, I do. And so really, yeah, the chance to play Dr. Loomis would I would be so happy to do
Mhm.
that. Um, the other person I get compared to, and I just had someone mention it recently, is Sid Haig.
That's fair. I can
Yeah.
see a resemblance. Like if you were there, like as a brother or a cousin, I could see that. That's fair.
Well, you probably can't see my beard. I just got it trimmed. It was a lot fuller for a while.
Got it.
I normally don't have this extra hair on my face, but I'm currently filming a movie called Hug These Bones, and for my character in that, that's why I've got the fringe on my head that I
Ah,
hate.
okay.
I've been shaving my head for 10 years because that just doesn't work.
Yeah.
Right.
So I've had to have it like this for like 3 or 4 months. And
Oh.
we're done shooting at the end of this month, and I can't.
Oh, I can't wait. I'm excited.
I'm super excited.
It's funny you mentioned Sid Haig. I have a funny Sid Haig story. Um, I went to Philadelphia Comic Con. I want to say this was about 15, 16 years ago.
Cool.
And a buddy of mine, we cosplayed the Mario Brothers.
Oh,
And uh, I got to meet Bruce Campbell,
Oof.
well, now
Sid
I'm
Haig.
jealous.
Yeah,
Right.
I got to meet Bruce Campbell, Sid Haig, and CM Punk. And
Wow. Very
during
cool.
Bru- during Bruce Campbell's question, during Bruce Campbell's panel, I raised my hand, and he goes, you in the back, Farmer Brown, what's your question?" And I go, "I'm not Farmer Brown." He goes, "Then who are you supposed to be?" And I'm like, "Luigi from the Mario Brothers." And he goes, "What's your question, Farmer Brown?" So later on, I ask him a question. Bruce Campbell, great guy, stand-up guy.
Oh,
Um,
I
Later
would
on,
love to meet him.
Mm-hmm.
a wonderful guy,
Yeah.
and so I'm walking through the halls, and they're doing signings, and Sid Haig is at the booth. And I walk up and I go, "Oh my God, Sid, big fan." And he goes, "How are the crops this season, Mr. Farmer?" And I go, I'm Luigi." And he goes, "From Super Mario Brothers?" I go, "Yeah." He goes, "You don't think they look like farmers?" And I was like, "They're supposed to be plumbers." He goes, "They look like farmers." And I was like, "Okay."
I mean,
So,
Okay.
I suppose the overalls, but they're not like denim overalls like a farmer would wear. They're not
so
Oshkosh Bagosh.
exactly. So then at the end of the night, finally, CM Punk has his own panel. This is his first run with the WWE. So I raise my
Mhm.
hand and he goes, "Hey, Luigi, what's your question?" And I go, "Finally." And he goes,
Right?
"What do you mean?" He goes, "Finally?" And I was like, "It seems like no one but you has realized I'm Luigi." He goes, "Who the fuck else would you be?" And I go, "Well, Bruce Campbell and Sid Haig both called me Farmer Brown." So CM
Funny.
Punk
That
goes,
is funny.
"Who?" I was like, "Bruce Campbell and Sid Haig. They both called me Farmer Brown." So CM Punk goes, "Farmer Brown, what's your question?"
Commit to the bit. That's what you gotta do.
Exactly. Yes, correct. Commit to the bid.
So,
Excellent.
I-
That I don't know if you did you see the things I posted about Joe Bob Briggs recently?
yes.
Um, he had done a trailer reaction video for Vic Effects when it was still we were still in production.
Mhm.
And we had the trailer. So he'd watched the trailer and he's talking
Mhm.
about he goes, the lead lady, there's this uh, uh there's a Burl Ives looking dude who's always whispering in her ear about how she's
What?
always gonna be watched. And I watched that video like 3 times
Right.
thinking, who in the movie does he think looks like Burl Ives? And finally I went, oh, it's me. He thinks I look like Burl Ives.
I
Um,
love
and
that.
if anybody doesn't know, Burl Ives probably best known as he was the Santa Claus narrator, I think, or something like that in the
Hmm.
Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer cartoon. So that guy, heavy set guy with the beard. Okay. So I finally got to meet Joe Bob a few weeks ago. He was at a convention a few miles away from me. So I queued that up, on my phone. And when I got up there, I said, I don't know if you'd remember this, but you called me a Burl Ives lookalike, and I'm playing the video, and he just goes, "You do look like Burl Ives." Like right. All
Don't
right. I guess I look like Burl Ives.
I love that.
take it as a compliment,
Oh
right?
Right.
yeah.
It's amazing.
That that that's awesome. I love that.
I'll make
Burl Ives.
I'll make a career out of the people I kind of look like.
That would be a really good
Well,
sketch.
welcome to the Donald Pleasant Sid Haig Burl Ives show.
Just keep showing up as all the people that people think you look like.
Exactly.
Hosted by Rob Reiner.
Oh no!
You went there. Wow.
You
I
did.
mean, looking at you, I see it a little bit. If I had never seen Rob
Interesting.
Reiner,
I've never heard that before. Interesting.
if you were to walk up to me and be like, "Hi, I'm Rob Reiner," I'd be like, "Yeah, yeah, you are. Good for you."
Yeah,
No.
I'd have to try to get that New York accent or whatever that is he had.
Which is the problem I have with the band Imagine Dragons.
Why?
Aside from being a terrible name, it just I couldn't tell you what Imagine Dragons looked like. So if I were walking down the
Ah,
street and five random guys walked up to me and was like, "Hey, we're Imagine Dragons," and I'm like, "Oh,
Sure.
that's cool,
okay.
awesome, yeah, yeah, you are." I can't tell you you're lying because I don't know. By the way, I met Imagine Dragons last week.
Excellent. Yeah.
It makes for a nice story. I was in
Yeah.
McDonald's. I don't know why they would be in a McDonald's in Wayne, New Jersey, but there they were. Imagine Dragons.
Right. Jordy, are you in New Jersey?
I
Mhm.
am in New Jersey.
Yeah. The New Jersey Horror Convention, I was there in 24 or 23. By far the best convention experience I've had so far.
Awesome.
They're not maybe one of the bigger ones, but just everybody there was awesome.
Mhm.
Oh, because we're all batshit crazy in New Jersey.
Yeah. Well, I know. And I've
Yeah,
got I've
we're
got a
nuts.
lot of I don't know if you know Ron Black from Black Avenue Films. But he's based out of that area.
Mm.
Okay,
He just
that's awesome.
recently did a short film that I'm also an associate producer on called Party Fire, where
That sounds amazing.
somebody hires a clown that turns out to be evil, but in the cast they have and I can't think of his name, the fellow who originally played Art in those short anthology films
Oh,
before
Oh, okay.
David Howard Thornton stepped
yeah.
into it for the first feature length. But I
Mhm.
think there had been 2 or 3 other shorts that
Mhm.
Damien
Right.
Leone had done that this other guy had been in, and he's in the cast for this. So it's kind
That's
of like a little Easter egg.
yeah.
Yeah,
That's so cool.
it's on YouTube. It's called Party Fire.
Yeah.
Party Fire.
Party
We'll
F
do,
F
definitely.
I E R.
Okay.
FFIER. Okay.
Yeah,
I
two
love
F's.
that. But I'm glad, and it always does my heart really good to hear people speak highly of New Jersey, like celebrities and bands. They'll go, "Oh, we love coming to New Jersey," and I'm like, at first I'm always like, "Thank you," and then back I'm like, "Why? Why?"
Another New Jersey connection. I recently was cast in a movie called Joker's Wild Lazarus Risen, which is a sequel to a short fan film,
Mhm.
Joker's Wild, that David Howard Thornton played Joker in that.
Mm.
But this new one features Harley Quinn, and Laura Nelenia is playing Harley Quinn, and she's from New Jersey.
Really?
Love
Yep.
that.
Yeah.
I love that. Oh, New Jersey. We're the gift that keeps on giving.
Yeah.
Some
Uh,
little St. Louis.
hey,
I
You guys got the Exorcist house though, so
Yeah, but like boring.
I had cousins who lived in Kirkwood.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the.
So
It's
I was down there. I think the last time I remember, this is really going to date me. I think they had just finished building the arch.
oh.
wow.
Yeah. So
So
Yeah.
a long
it's
time.
funny you mentioned you're from Wisconsin because fun fact, I happen to be a Milwaukee Brewers fan.
Oh, he's.
Good man.
Yeah. And
And
whenever
may I
I
ask why are you a Brewers fan?
okay, so when I was in my younger years, I want to say I was maybe 5, somewhere in that range of like maybe 5 to 9. I really didn't care about the sport of baseball at all. And we went to a Yankees game, and
Ah,
I didn't know. My parents were Yankees fans. I didn't know who to root for because the only sport I could tell you about at 6 years old was wrestling. I tell you anything you wanted to know about
all
Mhm.
right.
WWF or
That's
the
fair.
National Wrestling Alliance, but we went to a Yankees game and they played the Brewers, and I think the Brewers ended up beating the Yankees. I think the score was like 16-3. And I was like, I like
That's an
them.
anomaly.
That's my yeah, exactly. And I was like, that's them. That's my favorite team. I like them. I had no idea that the Milwaukee Brewers at the time were the worst team in all of baseball,
Oh
and
God.
literally just had a really good day that day.
Right. Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but I've never been one to half-ass anything. So 30 some odd years later, I am still a
Good
die-hard
for you.
Milwaukee Brewers fan.
Uh,
Yeah.
I'm old enough that I remember uh, when the Braves were still in Milwaukee. I think I was like in first grade, maybe, or second grade when they moved to Atlanta. And the Brewers were an expansion team. They didn't come into existence until I think I was in high school. So I never really
Right.
had, and baseball wasn't necessarily my favorite. So
Right.
I'm happy if the Brewers win, but I
Yeah,
I
exactly.
don't follow them, and I don't care if they lose. I'm
Right.
still a big Green Bay Packer fan.
Mhm.
Um, and I was in junior high the one year that Lou Alcindor, better known as Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, played for the Milwaukee Bucks. In fact, I used to have the Topps trading cards, the bubblegum cards. I had
Hmm.
his rookie card, and it had Lou Alcindor on it.
Nice.
Wow.
And somewhere along the line, that card and I parted company.
Oh.
Oh.
Um, but then I moved to Chicago in 1979, 1980. So I'm a much bigger Bulls fan because
Hmm.
Of
I
course.
was there for the whole dynasty period.
Right. That
So
that
I root for the Bulls. I root for the Packers.
Okay, nah, that's fair. I growing up, at the height of everything with the Bulls, it was always like, so Jordan, and I'm like, yeah, and they go, why'd your mom name you after a basketball player? I was like, dude, he was his third season in the NBA when I was born. I don't think my mother cared that much. I was like, I'm named after my uncle. I was like, there are two other people in my family named
Yeah,
Jordan. I don't like no one in my family likes any sport that much. If my mom would have named me after anybody, I would have had to have been born in like 1998, and she probably would
right.
have named me Derek Jeter. But that's about it. She,
See, if I
well,
had
she
been asked that, if I were you and I was asked that question, why did your mom name you after a basketball player? My response would be, because he's my real father. If anyone asks you again, you can use that.
because that's my dad. He won't acknowledge it.
Like just some random Nikes show up every
No,
once in a while.
Right?
every now and again, I get a pair of Jordans. I've got a bunch. They hurt my they hurt my feet. I don't wear them, but they're there.
Wow.
Thanks, Dad. You got 6 championship rings. What did I get? Poverty.
Right.
It's funny.
I'm gonna name my kid LeBron now, just to spite you.
Everybody calls him James. Finally says, James is my middle name. Well, what's your first name? LeBron.
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 LeBron James.
LeBron. So
Oh,
I do have to say, Bill, this has been absolutely amazing.
Oh, I've enjoyed talking to you guys. And as you know, I'm always happy to talk about myself. So.
and,
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 I,
and I
and
love
I'm
that.
getting to be that age where that's pretty much all I will do is tell outlandish stories from my past.
Look, we
And
love
and
that here.
repeatedly, I'll tell the same story over and over. So
Hey, and you know what? This is the perfect place for it. Anytime you'd love to come back, we'd love to have you.
oh
yeah.
yeah, absolutely. I would love to come back and talk to you guys.
I love that.
Well,
And now that we all follow,
I
now that we
think
all follow each other.
somebody just broke into Maggie's house. I think I
I'll
heard
be,
a noise and I saw you doing this.
one second.
I'm waiting for Freddy Krueger or Ghostface or somebody to show up. Oh,
Like just looking around, like,
Bye,
What
Maggie.
what is it, boy? Did Timmy get stuck in the well?
Right?
Okay, so she
Ah,
wasn't
there she
murdered.
is.
Yay.
My room isn't that big. I can just step to the side. No, my headphones got delivered.
Oh,
Oh,
sick.
well, you know
Oh,
what? Let's start this over again then, so she can use her
right.
headphones.
Oh, so I get it. Maggie had us believe the whole time that she was just too cool to use
Right,
headphones.
right.
I'm here yet. That's all.
But I love that. But yes, this has been amazing, and we would love to have you back
Yeah.
whenever you'd like to.
Yes,
And
please.
and now that we all follow each other on social media, we can
Right.
always just pop in and say hello.
Absolutely. Yes, please do.
Yeah, I totally didn't fangirl when that happened. Not one bit.
We have
Well, that's
messaged
good to know. That's good to know.
we have messaged each other constantly in anticipation. I
You,
mean,
you know, I was going to say
we talk
another
to each other.
thing that I found out about the Puppet Master Dr. Death. You know, so I'd post something and somebody would make a comment on the post and I'd reply to their comment and they were like, "Oh my God, a Puppet Master actor actually replied to my comment." And I was like, okay, there's a fan base there.
Yep.
I
You know,
think
by the
that,
second or third time that happened, I was like, okay.
yeah.
I, admittedly, we did that because we commented on something and then you replied, and Maggie messaged me. She goes, "Did you see it?" And I was like, "Yeah."
And then whenever you're like, hello, I'm not getting any younger, I was like, reply to his message right now. I'm like, you're the scheduling guy. I am not the scheduling girl.
Well, I do appreciate you guys asking me to be on. It's a lot of fun, and yes, anytime. But you know,
Awesome.
hit me up. I've got lots more stuff to talk about. Trust me.
Oh, we definitely will. I look forward to hearing it.
Yeah.
Well, again, thank you, Bill, for joining us.
My pleasure.
Um,
Thank you.
thank you guys at home who are finally getting to watch this for the first time. And thank you for joining us on Slaughter Sluts, as always. And until next time, take us away, Mags.
Get your body count up. It's been a long time since I've had to say that. I almost forgot.
I love that.
Excellent.